Well, welcome back to the SportsMax zone, and we're talking cricket now. Ireland, they're closing in on victory. They're currently 168 for 5, 32.4 overs. That's against the West Indies in the second one-day international at Sabina Park. They require 2 from how many balls remaining? From 21 deliveries. Well, after being asked to bat first, West Indies, they were dismissed for 239 in 48 overs, with Romario Shepherd notching his maiden half-century and top scoring with 50 against Andy McBride of 4 for 36. Ireland, in reply, reached 157 for 4 in the 32nd over before the heavens opened, but when they returned, they got the required runs as revised by the Duckworth-Lewis. So right now they're closing in, Lance, 168 for 5 still.
They've actually won it now. They were set.
They won it?
Yeah, they were set, I think, 167 to win based on the revised target.
Right.
So they've won by 5 wickets on the Duckworth-Lewis. On the Duckworth-Lewis method, yes. So they won by 5 wickets, the Irish. So the series is now locked at 1-1.
Well, while I'm refreshing, we have our international cricket commentator, Fazeer Mohammed. He doesn't miss a beat, so he's joining us now. Faz, can you confirm for us that Ireland have won?
Well, I usually rely on you guys to beat everything, so I don't look as bad as I usually do. But you're right. They've just won the match. It felt at one point that there would be no more play, but Ireland was so far ahead on the Duckworth-Lewis system that any resumption of play, it really would have required a complete and abject capitulation for them not to win. They lost 1 more wicket, but as Lance just mentioned, it's now 1-1 going into that deciding match come Sunday.
You know, you mentioned the word capitulation, and right away I think about West Indies. They're batting. At one point today, we were 111 for 7. Thankfully, you know, we were able to put on a respectable score. But let's talk about our batting in the earlier half of the day and what went wrong.
A couple of things that we must acknowledge as well. Batting early at Sabina Park, as the expert commentators would have pointed out, is not easy. And in the first 2 ODIs, the West Indies have struggled, having been put into bat. They recovered in the first match with that excellent 100 from Shamar Brooks, superb support from Karen Pollard. This time around, we also got a 40 from Shamar Brooks, so he continues to feel comfortable in this environment against the Irish seamers. And then we got 2 good innings, a half-century from Romario Shepherd and a really lightning 46 from Odin Smith that lifted the West Indies to 229. But it's worrying. It's worrying again, Mariah, that you have the top order batting continuing to struggle. And while it could be argued legitimately that the conditions would not have been ideal for batting early on, this is nothing strange. We've seen whether the West Indies are chasing, whether they're setting a target, whether they're playing here or in another part of the world. Too often you see the West Indies top order struggling as they were again today.
And now that, you know, we talk about this again, an issue that has been an underlying issue in West Indies cricket for some time, the batting. Based on what we've seen from Odin Smith and Romario Shepherd, is it too early to say that maybe they're putting their hands up and staking a claim in the first 11?
Well, they're in the first 11 right now. Whether they should
moving forward, yeah,
is another question, because I don't think automatically you should say, well, okay, the first 7 couldn't make any runs, 8 and 9 did, or 9 and 10 did, push them up. I think you've got to recognize that, look, players have been selected to perform in certain roles, and once the selectors, whoever they may be, have determined that X, Y, or Z have been given a fair enough opportunity to prove his or her worth in that position, then maybe it's time to look to someone else. To automatically suggest that you promote them is almost like if you're saying, well, okay, we're trying to do some sort of fix-it sort of situation to try to repair a situation when you're talking about the inadequacies of the top order. Why is it that we continue to have these situations, whether you're talking test match cricket, whether you're talking one-day international cricket, even T20 cricket, as we saw in the World T20, that technical deficiencies continue to be exposed in our top order players throughout the region. Yes, the big hitting at the end is encouraging and lifts the spirits somewhat, but promoting them doesn't solve that problem.
A little disconcerting, Faz, when you say that the West Indies are finding the Irish such a tough opposition here in this current series, and one more game now will actually decide the series, which, as you know, has points going towards qualification for the World Cup. But Evan Lewis at the top of the order has probably been the most consistent white ball West Indies batsman, in recent times. How much is this team missing him?
Missing him, yes, but again, we can't overlook the fact that with all of the top players available, the West Indies are where they are in the rankings. And again, let's not overlook that. I understand your point about Ireland, but Ireland could point out that they're without their captain, Andy Balbirnie, for this match.
Yes.
They were their veteran off-spinning all-rounder, Simi Singh, who, again, would have had the issues with COVID. Ireland would have come into this without having played a one-day international series against the United States. So they could argue that they are more undercooked than the West Indies. And indeed, they could very well say that, look, since 2007 at the same Sabina Park when they beat Pakistan famously in the World Cup, they would expect it not just compete, but beat the West Indies, as they did in 2015 in the World Cup in Australia and New Zealand. So let's not discount the growth of Irish cricket while the West Indies continue to find themselves in a situation where they are almost stagnating at this time.
Well, Faz, let's just hope that when we talk to you on Monday reviewing the series, we aren't doing a post-mortem on the West Indies' efforts in this three-match series.
Let's hope so. We'll be doing a post-mortem anyway, but hopefully it'll be a happier post-mortem in that context.
Thanks, Faz. We'll talk.
Take care.
Yeah, so Ireland winning this second one-day international by 5 wickets by the Duckworth-Lewis method in a rain-affected game at Sabina Park, and all to play for now in the final game on Sunday. Back in a moment.